In this episode, Google Instant Search, Apple App Guidance, and an Adobe Zero D exploit. QuickSurf Internet Media presents The Geekinator, talking about all things tech and geek. Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm your host Adrian, coming to you almost live from lovely Phoenix, Arizona, here in Studio C1 at QuickSurf Internet Media. The Geekinator is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Do feel free to head on over to techpodcast.com and check out all the other technology-related shows. This is Season 3, Episode 21. It'll be the last season the last episode of Season 3. We do 21 episodes per season, mainly because 21 is half of 42, and we all know the special number that 42 is. So the next episode will be Season 4, Episode 1. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the news for this episode. From the official Google blog, Google Instant behind the scenes. Google has introduced Google Instant. It's a change to make search fast and interactive by showing you results instantly as you type. With Instant, they've turned search from a static HTML page into an AJAX application, and just as they did with Google Maps and Gmail. You can learn more about Google Instant in the blog post that they did specifically for that, which we'll have linked up in the show notes. But we also wanted to share a peek behind the scenes and some of the engineering challenges that they faced in design and infrastructure. So this is kind of cool. Obviously this is something that they've been working on for quite some time. I like it. It's pretty neat. You can go in there, you start typing it. It actually does, it shows you suggestions, and it also shows you the results pages as you're typing. So it's pretty neat stuff. It'll be pretty interesting to see what the other search providers start doing in response to this. Let's go ahead and talk about our sponsor for this episode, GoToAssist Express. There are a variety of tools that let you remotely support a client, colleague, or friend, but the only one I trust and rely on is GoToAssist Express, the best remote support tool designed for small to medium-sized businesses, and it's brought to you by Citrix. Why GoToAssist Express? Well, you have exceptional performance, it's very easy to use, and it's secure. IT professionals, really anybody who doesn't have time to squander with a tool that's slow or unreliable, will appreciate GoToAssist Express. With GoToAssist Express, you have no IT maintenance or updating. It's so fast, you'll be on the other computer troubleshooting or giving a tutorial or doing whatever it is you need to do in seconds. And it's consistently reliable. My audience can try GoToAssist Express free for 30 days. For this special offer, visit gotoassist.com/techpodcast. I repeat, my audience can try GoToAssist Express free for 30 days. For this special offer, visit gotoassist.com/techpodcast. From PC World, there's this article, Apple offers app making guidance, but no DIY tool. So Apple has released its App Store guidance, and I'm using the air quotes here for those of you who are on the audio show, their App Store guidance, and basically it's a list of stuff that, makes it more transparent to, how Apple approves or declines applications in the App Store, the iTunes App Store for the iPhone, iPod Touch, and iPad. So it's pretty neat stuff. Some of it is very Apple-like, and some of it is, okay. But what can you expect, right? At least they're being transparent and saying, okay, here's some real definite things to look out for when you're doing something. This is solid guidance that they're giving, things that you should be taking into account when you submit an app into the App Store. So it'll be interesting to see how this all works out over time. From PC World, iFixit tears down the iPod Touch. Here's what they found. Essentially, there are a lot of similarities between the iPod Touch and the iPhone 4. The new iPod Touch, the one that Apple just released. The front-facing camera is very similar. In fact, it's The resolution is the same, but they had to make the package a little thinner to fit in the iPod Touch. The rear-facing camera isn't even a megapixel. It can shoot 720p video, but that's really about it. There's not, it's not a 5 megapixel camera or anything like that. The Retina display, it's not apparent whether it's an in-plane switching device. It is the same resolution as the iPhone 4's Retina display, but they've got some screenshots of the two of them at extreme angles, and the iPhone 4 display looks better than the one in the iPod Touch. So it's possible Apple didn't get an in-plane switching display for the iPod Touch to kind of keep costs down, but it's hard to say. The battery is pretty high powered, but it's still very difficult to remove. It's one of those, again, soldered in type deals. The A4 chip has the same markings on it as the iPad, but not the iPhone 4. And it only has 256 megs of memory like the iPad, whereas the iPhone 4 has 512 megs of memory. So again, boiling down to, there's a lot of similarities. There's a lot to like. Their conclusion was that it's not that repairable. They scored it a 4 out of 10 on the repairability scale. So if you buy the new iPod Touch, be real careful, because if you drop it and break the screen or do something like that, it's going to be pretty expensive to fix. Obviously, fixing it is less expensive than buying a new one at $299 or was it? Yeah, $290. It's $199, $299. I forget, but it's a couple $100 to buy a new one, the small one. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. From CNET News, the shuttle Discovery takes a first step towards its final flight. Running a day late because of a ruptured water main, the shuttle Discovery was hauled from its processing hangar to the vehicle assembly building Thursday for attachment to an external tank and twin solid fuel boosters. If all goes well, the orbiter will be moved to Launch Pad 39A on September 21st, setting the stage for launch November 1st on the space station resupply mission. So this will be pretty cool. It'll be the Space Shuttle's 133rd flight and the 39th and final voyage of Discovery before NASA's oldest shuttle is retired and put on public display, probably at the Smithsonian Institute in their National Air and Space Museum in Washington. So I'm looking forward to this. This will be pretty neat. These things are humongous. I mean, it's not a small craft by any stretch of the measure. I mean, they have a picture here, and it's definitely looking a little worn and beat down. I mean, it's clearly an aging piece of hardware, but you know what? As long as it still works, it'll be good. From the Los Angeles Times, in their business section, the video game industry is gearing up for a battle against California law. Girding itself for its final battle, the video game industry will lay out its arguments before the U.S. Supreme Court on why California's ban on the sale or rental of violent video games to minors violates the developers' free speech rights. The industry, expected to file its brief with the High Court late Friday, seeks to overturn the state statute, as it also takes on family advocates who argue that parents should be able to determine whether their children get exposed to violent media. Now, all morality aside, personally, I think it's a bad thing if your kid can gain exposure to something like that without your supervision, if you are their parent or legal guardian and they are a minor or a child. I'm all, as a parent, I'm all for having controls in place that let me control what my kid sees, very much so. Like, I don't watch TV if I've got, a child awake and up, because the type of TV I like to watch gives them nightmares. It really boils down to it. If they see what I'm watching, it's a rough night, because they're sitting there screaming and having nightmares and all that other stuff. And that's just TV. The same can go for video games. There's a whole slew movies. There's a whole slew of stuff that, is not appropriate for a child to have access to. That's the whole reason why there are ratings. the TV ratings and the movie ratings and the video game rating system. If I were, the proprietor of, a video game store, and, some kid, 10 or 11-year-old kid walked in and said, I want Red Dead Redemption. I could not in good conscience sell it to him unless his parent was there and his parent wanted to buy it for him. And even then, I would probably be cringing in my boots. It's like there are some things that are just really not appropriate for children. And this is coming as a parent. On the same hand, I can completely see what they're saying, okay? Despite the fact that I don't want my kids to have access to, TV shows such as CSI, Criminal Minds, Law and Order, Criminal Intent, all the, stuff that's really not appropriate for a small child, they still make it. It's still broadcast on broadcast television, over the air, publicly available. If I were not supervising my child, they would be watching it. So it really is a fine line to walk. And, it's one of those things where it really boils down to, at the end of the day, parents, you really need to supervise and parent your children. If you don't want them to have access to something like that, be a parent. Make sure they don't gain access to something like that. Control what they have access to. It's that simple. But at the same time, there are a lot of bad parents, and a lot of this is, an attempt to keep children from gaining access to that, even though they have parents that aren't there, or parents that are absent-minded, or, whatever the case may be. But, obviously it's something that's highly controversial, and a lot of people are up in arms over it on both sides, and it's going to the Supreme Court. Only time will tell how this is going to turn out. We'll be keeping an eye on it to see what happens with it. But still, I can see both sides as a parent and also as a publisher. It's a very sticky situation. From digital trends, Adobe Acrobat and Reader are under attack with a zero-day exploit. Adobe identified a critical vulnerability in Adobe Acrobat and Reader on Tuesday, this is a couple days ago, but said today that attackers were already exploiting this bug. All versions of Acrobat and Reader 8 and 9 for Windows, Macintosh, and Unix are open to attack. Even the latest versions, 8.2.4 and 9.3.4, are not safe. Other PDF reading alternatives such as Foxit Reader are not affected. So basically what happens, there's an attack masquerading as a harmless PDF file, and it has malformed font and image files, and it spreads via an email attachment, and it's bad stuff. So, again, the old adage applies. Do not open attachments from people you do not know. Okay, and even if it is from someone you do know, if it's a PDF file, be very careful about opening it. Make sure you can scrub that thing, and your virus definitions can detect that. If you're in a corporate environment, they're probably all over this. I know I got an email a day or so ago from my job, the security department in my job, saying, yo, guys, there's a thing going around. Keep an eye out for it. We're updating our stuff to catch it, but be vigilant, and that's really the only thing you can do. That'll pretty much do it for this edition of the Geekinator. As always, everything we've talked about is linked up in the show notes. And follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Adrian_bacon. Visit us on the web, quicksurf.com. And with that, I will see all of you on the next episode. I'll see you then. Bye.